Compu-Clearing Outsourcing provides IT products and services to the customs, clearing, freight forwarding, air cargo and related industries. It has a market cap of 144 million rand, a price to earnings ratio of 13.7 and a dividend yield of 7.2%. Compu-Clearing. Paul, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the interesting things here is that this is what Craig was referring to earlier about a company that actually has some of its own intellectual property, because they developed a suite of software solutions that are specifically used in the logistics, freight forwarding and clearing industry. So that's people whose job it is to be out there at the airport and to get stuff as it comes through, to do the documentation and the forwarding type of stuff, the reporting to the Department of Trade and Industry and to the customs people. It was founded by a guy called Arnold Garber, who's still got about a 30% stake in the business. It's got a good dividend yield, even though its profits have been a bit variable, which tells you that it's kind of like a family company that is sort of listed. But it has been around a long time and it's got a nice little niche. So I think on balance it's done well enough, but it doesn't really get much attention out there.
Craig, looking at Compu-Clearing, they're looking for new revenue streams. Where to for Compu-Clearing, and what are your thoughts on this company?
Where to? Well, I think management have indicated that document storage solutions, or I suppose something like Metrofile's doing, or scanning, that's kind of the acquisition. It'll be in the IT space if they're going to look at anything like that. But it's difficult for them to grow by acquisitions. They're not going to go buy a fish and chip shop or something, and it's a very small niche market. So something in the IT space, because that's how they see themselves. I think there's going to be a bit of organic growth, because that's largely driven by the economy. And we saw that fantastic figures in 2008, and then there was a bit of a drop in 2009. But it's an interesting story. I mean, Santova, Grindrod's been a customer of them for 25 years. 25 years. Bidvest Logistics, all the courier companies, DHL, etc. So they've really got about 65% of the market, with freight flowing in and out of the country. And so as the economy picks up, I think it's a share that's going to do very well.
We know that they're also very visible in Namibia. They tried to get into Mozambique, but I abandoned that given all the regulatory issues when it comes to the Mozambican market.
Yeah, the other interesting thing for me about them is that 24% of the shares or something like that are held by Bidvest, which, as Craig mentions, is one of their clients. Bidvest's got a habit of doing that. You know, they've got like a 24% stake in Comair. They took a stake in Nampak. You know, Brian Joffe is quite entrepreneurial that way. If he sees there's a bit of stock around, he'll snap it up, because they are, after all, involved with the sort of logistics supply chain. But, I mean, there have been cases where, Bidvest has decided to go away, like they did. They got shot of their Nampak stake and they got into Tiger Wheel and Tyre. That didn't work out well. So that's not to say that Bidvest are necessarily going to launch a buyout for the business. But it is one possibility that could be part of the business's future. The other thing about noting about it is it's got a high dividend yield. And again, that's because probably the founder shareholder wanted to extract a bit of paycheck. But I don't know, I mean, limited liquidity, small, doesn't trade much in the market, so not necessarily one that's going to be exciting for me. I'm going to go with not hot.
Okay, not hot for Paul here in Joburg. Compu-Clearing for you, Craig, hot or not?
Yeah, no, look, I think it's hot from the point of view that it's consistently paid high dividends. The HEPS was about 25 cents. It's paying out 25 cents. If you can get the stock, because it's not very liquid for a small player, it's a hot company and at a fair valuation. So from that point of view, I say hot.